As Nödt, a Tsunoto, is a Quincy and a member of the Wandenreika's Sternritter with the designation F, the Fear. A survivor, hospitalized and close to death, as thought living was painful. Remembering what he had been taught about heaven and hell, he hoped to go to heaven where it would not be painful, but he was afraid of going to hell, where everything would be even more painful. At his deathbed, he was approached by Yawatch, who offered him power. Appearance: As has long, black hair and dark eyes with visibly light pupils. His attire is a variation of the Sternritter's typical white uniform, consisting of the Order's signature hooded cloak, an ankle-length trench coat with many buttons on its front and sleeves, and black boots. He wears a dark mask, which obscures the lower half of his face and features 5 spikes running down its center. He has dark fingernails beneath the mask, as has no lips, leaving his teeth and gums exposed. During the second invasion of Soul Society, as wears a different trench coat that features even more buttons, as well as black fingerless gloves with spikes on the wrists. In addition, his mask has only 4 spikes. Personality: As believes irrational fear is a force which one cannot overcome, unlike rational fear. Because of this, he has the utmost confidence in his special ability. As is not above chastising his own allies, such as when he chided Mask the Masculine for not stealing 6th Division Lieutenant Rinji Aburai's Bankai when he had the chance. As is quite arrogant, declaring that the stolen Senbon Zakura was his own and stating that he felt lonely without it. As also takes delight in his ability to cause fear in foes, and often laughs menacingly. During battles he has a habit of going on long, philosophical tangents regarding the nature of fear, often while rolling his eyes and turning his head in a disconcerting manner. As has a twisted sense of humor, such as when he made light about his evisceration of Byakuya Kachiki, even going so far as to joke that Byakuya looked trim, as though he had been forced to have a new diet. As is a religious man, who believes in the existence of heaven and hell. The possibility of dying and going to hell scares him more than anything else, because he believes that going there would cause him more pain than what he felt in life. Likewise, he states that his only fear is to be scolded by Yawatch and have his very existence taken from him. Equipment: Medallion, as possesses a round device which is roughly the size of a person's palm and has the Wandenreik insignia etched onto its surface. When activated, the device can steal a currently released Bankai in the immediate vicinity, as evidenced when has used it to take 6th Division Captain Byakuya Kachiki Senbon Zakura Kaioshin. The medallion's owner can use the stolen Bankai's power at will. Since hollow powers are poisonous to Quincy, the stolen Bankai were returned to their original Shinigami owners when the Bankai were hollowified by the Shinyaku. Being in possession of a Bankai prevented as from activating Quincy, Volstandig. Powers and abilities: The Fear: Despite the considerable attack strength of as spirit weapon, the true power of the Thorns lies not in their offensive capability, but instead in their ability to induce limitless fear in those who are struck. Just a single wound is enough to inspire a deep-seated fear towards as, causing victims to doubt everything, lose control of all rational thought, and see visions of their deepest fears. While this would typically result in instantaneous death due to a person's heart being unable to bear such intense shock, an individual's experience and willpower can be used to resist this fear to an extent, though as is confident all would succumb to it eventually. When the thorns strike an object, a black substance of fear begins to spread. It can even move through the objects to induce fear in a foe. The thorns can induce fear in their target through simply touching them, so it is not necessary for the foe to be wounded for the fear to infect them. Racial manipulation: As a Quincy, he primarily absorbs spiritual energy from the atmosphere, and combines it with his own spiritual energy to form weapons. He has an easier time collecting this energy in environments with higher concentrations of racial, such as in Soul Society or Hueco Mundo. Hirenkyaku expert: As is a considerably fast combatant, he was able to move behind Rukia Kachiki, a Shuanpa expert, before the latter could even react. Blut, Buruto, German for blood, Japanese for blood guys, an advanced Quincy technique which grants one inhuman defensive and offensive capabilities by making racial flow into the user's blood vessels. Blut Vene, Buruto Vene, German for blood vein, Japanese for stilled blood guys. While as defensive form of Blut is strong enough to negate attacks from Rinji Shirkai, it is not absolute and can be torn using sufficient power, as evidenced when Byakuya's Senbon Zakura managed to cut his hand. However, he was able to withstand being frozen to the point of absolute zero, -273.15 degrees Celsius, by Rukia's Shirkai and managed to break free from the ice, with only a few minor frostbite injuries. Great spiritual power: As spiritual power is on a level comparable to or greater than that of a captain-level Shinigami, proven when he swiftly defeated 6th Division Captain Byakuya Kachiki. His Ryatsu can unsettle an enemy by making them believe someone is touching them. Enhanced Strength, as possesses great physical strength. He blocked several attacks from 6th Division Lieutenant Renji Abarai's Zabumaru with just his Blood Vene enhanced arm and impaled Byakuya with his hand. Spirit Weapon. Racier Thorns, using his abilities as a Quincy, as can concentrate both spirit energy and particles in order to transform them into weapons. His favored weapon manifests in the form of several luminous thorns floating in close proximity to his person, which are used to viciously impale victims and can pierce the body of a captain-class Shinigami with ease. The thorns can be fired at an enemy at high speeds. Quincy, Volstandig. Te Tarfaras, Tadarufaresu, Japanese for Afraid of God, viz. Fear of God, as activates his Volstandig by rolling back his left eye, revealing a Wandenrake emblem on the inside of his eyeball. In this form, he gains a Heiligenschein in the form of a star encircled by barbed wire, a stream of blood pouring from each eye, and a cloak with a line of stitches running down the middle. His wings are barely visible and resemble circles of barbed wire attached to his back. The cloak is very tight-fitting, revealing his gaunt torso. His eyes are completely rolled up, and his forearms are covered in a black substance. The Fear, enhanced in this form, as the Fear ability is greatly enhanced. Rather than inducing fear by grazing his opponent with his thorns, as simply has to be seen by his opponent in order for them to feel fear because the fear penetrates them through their optic nerve. As an extension of this, as can create a dome around himself and his opponent covered with innumerable big eyes with the iris tilted up, preventing them from ever escaping his gaze, in order to keep them constantly feeling fear. One glance is enough to induce the limitless fear, as closing one's eyes afterwards is useless, since fear remains within one's memories and mind. Transformation, at will, as can cause the stitching down the front of his body to burst open, exposing an immense face of his own likeness. As his body absorbs the numerous eyes created by his the Fear ability, this larger version of himself tears its way out of his body and grows to massive proportions. In this form as ribcage is exposed, and his lower torso consists of a tentacled mass instead of legs. His face is severely deformed, some teeth are missing, its skin sagging and his eyeballs melting out of their sockets. The tattered remains of his upper body hang down from his chin. Weaknesses. The Fear. Indomitable will, with high levels of willpower an opponent can be capable of overcoming fear. Death state, the Fear has no effect on those who have bodies that are in a deathly state. This coincides that only those with living bodies meeting the standard requirement of the term are capable of being immune.
If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.